to a baby, so I can't bring her. They said, no, you cannot vote, so go back, and she may not vote. And this woman returns later in the afternoon, bringing the daughter that has just delivered a baby to vote in the elections. This is honorable ladies and gentlemen, the shared vision that the two countries have in democracy, and the strength of democracy, and the values that we share. Now, we also need to have societies that are economically well off. We also need to have progress in science and technology. We also need to be part of the rest of the world, which we luckily are. For that, India's role in Afghanistan in raising Afghan capacity to reach where we want to reach, which is a more well-off society, a more educated society, a more connected to the world society, India's role is immense. As I referred to earlier, education is such fundamentally strong area of Indian support to Afghanistan. We have nearly 10,000 Afghan students here in India, some of them on India government scholarship, some of them on Afghan government scholarship, some of them with their own resources and of their own will. This, ladies and gentlemen, the Afghan people will never forget, because India was the pioneer in providing education to Afghans and coming to us and saying, we will take 1,000 students from Afghanistan per year and we'll distribute them all along India to study. And you don't see the impact here in Symbiosis because you are already in an established academic institution. We see it in Afghanistan because of the 30 years that we have lost in training our youth, in educating our people. Each return of these students back to Afghanistan brings an improved quality of services to our country, be it in engineering, be it in civil services, in computer sciences, in all walks of life. We now have lab technicians, we now have computer science experts, we now have better engineers, we now have better managers, we have a lot better skilled human resource base than we ever had before. Give us another 10 years and give us the help that you've been providing in the past 10 years, will be 3 times the abilities of today. And continue that for another 10 years, take it into 20 years, Afghanistan will have stabilized itself into a society, into a country that can cater for its own needs in a manner suitable to us. That contribution of India is massive. So, this brings us to economic cooperation. What is it that Afghanistan can do for India? Afghanistan, as I referred to earlier, is the roundabout of the region. The Central Asian, the West Asian, and the South Asian region. Wherever you want to go across India and Pakistan towards the north or the west, you have to go through Afghanistan. Afghanistan is working all means available to provide India with such an opening to Central Asia and to West Asia. The Chabahar port in Iran is one that both countries are considering, where we have spoken with the government of Iran, where this facility can be provided to India and Afghanistan for better trade and for better investment opportunities by Indian enterprises in Afghanistan. Afghanistan also is, as those in economy and in the media know, among the richest countries in the world in mineral resources. And India is among the fastest rising countries in the world in industrial development and technology and the need for such resources. Now, Afghanistan, by way of its emotions towards India and by way of the short distance between us in India, and by way of the deep linkages between us in India, is the best place for Indian enterprises, government and non-government, in other words, private and public ventures into Afghan mineral resources, from the iron ore, where a conglomerate of Indian companies have taken interest, to the rare earth materials, the scientists here know what I'm talking about, to the petroleum resources, and to all other walks of industrial and economic activity. This cooperation, this vision, political, social, which means also educational, economic, and ways beyond into the strategic realm of affairs, makes relations between India and Afghanistan among the strongest of relations between any countries in the world. This also provides India a vision of its own cooperation with the rest of the world. If you multiply the example of Afghanistan and India and apply it to other countries, the world definitely, as Professor Majumdar said, will be a color white, and it will mean peace. And it is that color white and peace that the relations of Afghanistan and India are directed at, especially in our region, which is troubled for years by war and upheavals. And that should be our purpose in this very beautiful, colorful Afghan-Indian relationship. Thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you, sir, for enlightening us on the various aspects of Afghanistan-India development partnerships. I would now like to request Dr. Rajni Gupte, Vice Chancellor, Symbiosis International University, to deliver the vote of thanks.
Ladies and gentlemen, esteemed dignitaries on the dais, His Excellency Mr. Hamid Karzai, Honourable President, Islamic Republic of Afghanistan, Honourable Shri Shankar Narayanan, Governor of Maharashtra, Dr. S.B. Muzumdar, Chancellor, Symbiosis International University, Dr. Vidya Yaravdekar, Principal Director, Symbiosis, Dr. Sangam Nerkar, Vice President, Symbiosis, Dr. Devre, Convener of this conference. Last night, I opened my file that I have been using for this IR conference, a file that has been my companion for several months now. I looked at the oldest paper, the first paper in the file, where Dr. Vidya and I, a few of us, had chalked out a broad outline of this conference. We had written down the names of people and designations of people who we wished would be a part of this conference. I am sure you have guessed that the Honourable President of Afghanistan was, of course, on this wish list. Amazingly, practically everyone we had wished for then is here at this conference. This can only be God's grace. His Excellency, Mr. Hamid Karzai, Honourable President, Islamic Republic of Afghanistan, I am privileged to thank you for delivering the keynote address at the International Relations Conference 2013. Your presence here in India, I am sure, will help build stronger relations between our two nations. Honourable Shri Shankar Narayanan, Governor of Maharashtra, Sir, words are not adequate to thank you for your blessings to Symbiosis and your gracious presence at the inaugural session yesterday and today. This event has been graced by ministers from India and overseas, former ambassadors, government officials, corporate leaders, thought leaders, and academicians from various think tanks. My sincere thanks to all of them. Without their participation, this event would never have taken off the ground. Dr. S.B. Muzumdar, Chancellor, Symbiosis International University. Sir, all of us at Symbiosis are indeed blessed to have you as our mentor. I, on behalf of each one of them, thank you for making such an event possible. Dr. Vidya Yaravdekar, Principal Director, Symbiosis. Ma'am, every bit of the success of this grand conference we owe to you and your untiring efforts Thank you ever so much. Ambassador Sudhir Devre, the convener of the conference, our advisory board, Mr. Dilip Padgaonkar, Ambassador Prakash Shah, the Public Diplomacy Division, Ministry of External Affairs, every team that has worked tirelessly to make this event a reality, I thank you all. I, for one, have been enriched by the excellent presentations and the interactions yesterday and today, and I'm sure the rest of today will be no different. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen.
We are very honored to have President Karzai fill in the visitor's book. Thank you, sir. With that, we come to the end of this special session. The audience is please requested to remain seated while the dignitaries leave the dais.